MotorLand Aragon, just outside the historic town of Alcañiz in Spain. It's the penultimate round for 2023 and the Finetwork FIM Junior GP World Championship. 5 kilometres in length, it's the Moto2 class that's out next for their second race. Lucas Tulovic won here last year. Senna Aegis has already won in 2023. If he wins again, in fact, if he gets a podium, he has got the championship in the bag. This promises to be a classic. Senna Aegis, it could be his championship winning race at the end of 15 laps. The sun has come out. The fog is nowhere to be seen. MotorLand Aragon in all of its glory. October weather, it's nearly 30 degrees here. It's incredible to think how warm it is. Nico Giles and Tristan Finocchiaro sitting in an air-conditioned commentary unit, bringing you all the live coverage throughout the day. We're now in the second half of today's billing. Race 4 of 6 on the cards. Moto2's final outing, and race 1, Tristan, was an absolute belter. We're going to see the highlights in a moment, but Senna Aegis just cleared off.
Belter is the word. Barnstormer's another one that comes to mind as well. He didn't have it all his own way in the opening few laps. Jari Ruiz was all over his rear wheel, but unfortunately a jump start for him meant he had to do a double long lap, and then, double long lap, and then unfortunately did crash out as well. So hopefully this time he can go with him, and we'll have a battle for the lead here, and it'll be good to see what Aegis can do if he does have another rider snipping at his heels here. But we had a great battle for second place as well. That went right down to the wire, right to the final corner, exactly what we want to see. Alberto Sora's on the grid this time, wasn't on the grid for race 1. Not sure what happened there, but he's out, he's ready for the race today.
Yeah, the 67 lines up. These are your highlights. Tristan, talk us through what happened. Senna Aegis coming from pole position.
Yeah, Aegis from pole got a decent start down into turn 1. Jari Ruiz got a jump start, just spun it up off the line, and then unfortunately stopped, went again, and that's a jump start. Didn't gain an advantage from it, but those are the rules. Harrison Voigt was carving his way through the field as the laps were ticking away on the number 29 machine. Jari Ruiz, though, despite that jump start, was all over the rear wheel of Senna Aegis as the first few laps ticked away. Battle raged on a little bit further back between Ferrandis and Roberto Garcia as they swapped and changed positions for what was then the battle for third place. Garcia very, very strong on the second half of the final corner. Then this crash for Ruiz after taking his first long lap penalty, and that was curtains for him. This then became the battle for second, and it raged on all race long. Garcia, Ferrandis, Unai Radre was in there as well. The Fantic team watched on as those guys swapped and changed positions. Radre was making some big moves down into turn 1. And then the number 12 of Borja Gomez was keeping himself very much in the contention on the back as well, with the number 10 who took victory last time out in Barcelona, really showing what he's made of in a scrap for that second position. There was a crash, unfortunately, halfway through the race, and that was curtains for the rider who went down and out. But Radre out the front was running such a defensive race, very, very strong on the brakes, but Garcia and Borja Gomez were both absolutely on it on those Fantic machines. Aegis took victory, one hand on the title for the number 81. Will he take it in race 2? We will find out, but that battle for second place did go the way of Garcia ahead of his teammate Gomez, with Radre just off of the podium. But another victory for the Australian as he came into Parc Fermé to celebrate. It's just one step closer to taking the title after a very unfortunate Barcelona round last time out where he could have taken the title, but a big crash for him, big injury, but he's back on the top step and he's back in contention for this title. Is he going to take it in this race? Would not put it past him.
Senna Aegis has a 35-point lead then, coming into this final encounter for Moto2 of the day. Track temperature has come right up. It's into 36 degrees right now, expected to rise throughout the race. It was 39 degrees in the second qualifying session yesterday, where Senna Aegis was one of the only riders that could really find a good chunk of time. 35 points is his margin. It's over Xavi Cardalus, who had a race once. Forget how many times have we said that in 2023 and years gone by. Cardalus just not able to convert 4th place on the grid, and he dropped to 6th place in the end. So that means then, Tristan, that Aegis just needs a podium here. The 35-point lead. If he's third and if Carlos was to win, the gap would come down to 26, and there's only one race remaining. In Valencia, he can't be caught.
Since joining the championship last year, Senna has finished inside the top 3 in every single race that he has finished. So if he does finish outside the top 3 and doesn't wrap up the championship, that'll actually be his worst result ever in the category. Of course, he's had a couple of DNFs, set out Barcelona with injury after a big crash in free practice, but is looking incredibly, incredibly strong round here. I mean, he was able to, in race 1, was able to pull out lap times that no one was able to get anywhere near, apart from this man, Jari Ruiz. He was sticking it to him in the opening laps. Can he stay with him for the full race distance, though? We'll find out.
Ruiz obviously was issued a double long lap penalty in race 1 for his jump start. Crashed out having served just one long lap penalty. I think in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't have made too much difference anyway. I think Aegis still had it in the bag, but Ruiz, for example, had have we got Kyrgyzstan flag there? I don't believe it, surely not.
I would never have recognised that, you know, your knowledge on flags.
I think that's a Kyrgyz flag and with a Tajik flag. I mean,
you could say anything and I would not have known.
Well, this isn't the Irish flag, that's the Italian flag. We'll get back to that in a bit. As we were saying, Ruiz maybe still has to serve his long lap penalty. We'll keep you informed when we get the notification on time. And this is Alberto Sura. Didn't start race 1, don't know why.
We started from the back of the grid, I think. Did he possibly missed pit lane exit or something?
Or tyre pressure infringements, perhaps. Either way, he only fought through to 18th, which is a little bit disappointing. This is Ramon Forcada. Now, Forcada obviously synonymous with Jorge Lorenzo and his career there, and developing and nurturing and helping young talent. And then he's got a certain Albert Ferrandez to help as well. This is Xavi Cardaluz, second in the championship. He has had 4 podiums on the bounce coming into this round, but dropped to 6th right when it mattered. So Cardaluz needs to win and hope that Aegis is off the podium. Aegis being off the podium in itself doesn't look likely, and if race 1's anything to go by, no one seems to be able to catch him, least of all Cardaluz. Yeah,
Cardaluz struggled a little bit in that first race, kept himself more or less in the contention. A couple of mistakes for him meant he dropped back a couple of times, wasn't able to consistently stick it to him, and had nowhere near the pace for Aegis. Borja Gomez, though, podium in race 1, looked really strong. He was absolutely on rails, battling it out with his teammate in race 1. Picked up his first podium in the category after joining the Fantic racing team this weekend, and is just looking absolutely superfluous on that bike. Can he go any better in this one? Could possibly get up to 2nd position. That gap to Senna Aegis, though, is a massive, massive order for them. All of them were roughly, on average, a 2nd a lap slower than Senna.
And at the end, Senna was keeping on, pushing on, and was going half a second a sector quicker in times. This is Marco Tapia. Now Tapia, the number 8, looking for that first podium. It's not looking like it's going here. Worst result of the year in race 1 here at Aragon. He goes from 6th on the grid for race 2, looking to get back inside that top 6 come the checkered flag.
Yeah, Tapia, a rider we've seen very, very strong in this category, just 16 years old from Mallorca and showing his worth. 15th last year in 2022, best result was P4 so far this season, so really looking to stick it to it. Nico Antonelli, a name you'll know from the world stage, not setting the world on fire over here in Moto2 for the JuniorGP. Has picked up a podium this year, been a bit off the boil, a lot of DNFs, same old story for Nico really.
It's been, I think, frustrating for Nico on the MMR. Having said that, good race pace in race 1, so keep an eye on him.
It was a step in the right direction, wasn't it?
It really was. He was closed in on that lead group. I think it just came a little bit too late for him as we get a wide shot of the grid. Senna Aegis is going from pole. Troy Corsa and Leon Cameo, 2 of the big names here watching him on. Will he be champion at the end of this? 15 laps ahead of us, 15 laps perhaps between Senna Aegis on pole, Senna Aegis 2023 Moto2 European champion He is ahead of Yerai Ruiz, who will look to try and get a podium after crashing out of race 1. Alberto Sura is on the grid. He completes the front row. Lots of names right the way down the order. Watch out for Harrison Voigt. He is back in his original starting position now after a penalty in qualifying. He's up on the 5th row. Sam Wilford likewise moving up as well. Keep an eye on Jakub Hoziuk, the Romanian rider. He is having a good weekend and a step ahead of perhaps where he has been. Shannon Inter crashed in race 1 at turn 3, the tyre rider number 98, and he is going from 23rd on the grid. 24 riders ready to do battle. Kiko Giles and Tristan Finocchiaro ready to bring you the action right from the start. The warm-up lap is underway. This is match point, Tristan. Senna Aegis a podium. The title is bagged with a round to spare, and he's already got his flight booked up to 2024's Moto2 grid anyway.
Yeah, he's got his deal signed. He's going to be stepping up with that team that he's already with, but he'll be stepping up to the world stage. Has already tried his hand at the world stage this year, hasn't scored a point this year, did pick up 9th place last year in the Moto2 World Championship. That's been his best result there. I'm pretty sure it was his only point scoring result as well. It's such a tall order to jump up to. It's such a big jump up to the Moto2 World Championship. Loads of riders have made it work though. Fermín Aldeguer, Alonso Lopez, lots of names have made it work over in the Moto2 World Championship. And one thing to note, his lap time here, his pole position lap time at 52.6 would have put him just outside the top 10 on the Moto2 grid for 2022. Alberto Sura practicing a long lap penalty then, so perhaps nothing that we've been notified about, but perhaps he'll be having to serve one in this race. We'll be able to bring you that information later on. But yeah, Sura back of the grid in race 1. Looks as if he's going to be taking the long lap penalty in this one. He was practicing it. Perhaps just one of those warm-up lap things where you're trying to relieve the tension, do the warm-up lap as slow as you can, be the last one on the grid, make everyone wait, let the tensions rise for everyone else. And then again, he's rejoined and he looks to be on it, so probably not.
And the temperatures of the tyres of everyone else going down a little bit as well, while they're doing nothing on the grid. As we said, match point here, so a podium for Senna Aegis. Again, we reiterate, is a championship winning position. And
I don't see him not taking it this race.
I just
something massive happens.
Can't see him not finishing on top, to be honest. Senna Aegis is my firm bet. I'll come to you in a moment, Tristan. I'll get the favourite in first. That's your standings. Cardelus, 35 points adrift of Aegis. Ratto, 29 back of Cardelus. Sura, 4 back of Ratto. So it is closer further down you go. 15 laps coming up ahead of us. Race 1 was a belting battle for second, so keep an eye out on the likes of Roberto Garcia coming from 11th on the grid, Borja Gomez in 5th, and right in the middle of them in 8th place, Alberto Ferrandez on the Finetwork team, who Ramon Forcada is nurturing now for sure. Ferrandez, a star of the future. It's his first race earlier in the Moto2 class, managed to take a 5th place, so it's impressive that he can do that after one race. Maybe he's going to be one to watch for the rest of this race, now with that little bit of race distance under his belt. We are under starters' orders then for the final race of Moto2 action today, the 4th race of 6 on today's billing. Senna Aegis could be world champion in the Moto2 European class at the end of it. Lights out, we are into race 2. Oh, bit of smoke from the front wheel there as Yerai Ruiz touched back down. He's grabbed the whole shot. Yerai Ruiz then crashed out of race 1, grabs the whole shot of race 2, just about holds on ahead of the 81 of Senna, who started from pole. Senna Aegis, what? You don't need to be doing this, Senna Aegis.
And Sura as well. I thought he was going to go up the inside of the both of them there.
Sura, Alberto Sura, he is going to go up the inside of both of them, just maybe not at the same corner. Sura into second, so Ruiz got the initial whole shot. Senna Aegis wide, but that's okay, he hooks it back round. So Aegis from Sura, from Ruiz, from Gomez.
Here comes Sura for the lead. Up the inside, pushes him. Oh, there was a door open there, and that's a crash down.
That's Garcia. Roberto Garcia, I think, went down.
Oh, that's Antonelli.
Oh.
Nico Antonelli in the gravel trap once again, just as we thought things were looking up for the Italian. He goes and does what he's done time and time again.
I'll tell you what, he's holding his collarbone, I think that is. He went down very hard. He went down whilst he was upright, straight line, breaking in there for turn 7. Let's hope Antonelli is okay. But again, just too often that is a shot we have seen way too many times. Out front.
Alberto Sura for victory.
We didn't say that, did we? Alberto Sura then leading the way on the Bosco Oscuro. We know that bike works pretty well around here.
Big rear end moment there. He had it well off the ground there on the brakes, all the way, rushed to the front, hard on the brakes. He's come out of the gates, honestly, guns blazing, wants to take this victory. Senna doesn't need to take victory. He can sit right there if he wants to, and he'll be champion.
Maybe we're in for the race of the season then. Aegis second, third, four. It is Ruiz who had a bobble on there. Four, Borja Gomez, Bishop Kirski up into fifth. Marco Tapia sixth. Cardalus, well, he's a nearest title rival. Doesn't matter when you're down in seventh. Eighth for Roberto Garcia, who I mistakenly identified. He's still okay. There in eighth. Oh, that's close for the third place. And through comes Gomez. Or does he? Ruiz runs it wide. Inside for turn two. Has it? Oh, corner speed, and more corner speed.
What?
Through around the outside. Gomez, he just kept it absolutely pinned. Threw it up into third place. He knew he had to clear Ruiz because he can see the two ahead of him escaping.
Ruiz bites back though.
Ruiz has the same idea and just runs him off his line. Ruiz back through. Good news coming to us in the comms box that there is no jump start, so Ruiz all okay this time. These two knocking spots of each. Oh, moment on braking there. Up into turn 7. Ruiz goes wide and back through comes Gomez. So Borja Gomez, after that podium, that first podium in race 1 of his Moto2 European Championship career, he's going to be looking to try and make it 2 in a day.
These guys out the front as close as you like, and those two scrapping it out, Ruiz and the Fantic machine, those two scrapping it out with Gomez. They've lost a lot of time with that exchange, and now Aegis looked as if he was making a move for the lead. We'll see if he made that one stick when the camera pans. No, he didn't. Right, so Sura, very strong on the brakes. We see how aggressive he is on the brakes. I was just watching them both through the final corner, though. Again, rear end very lively into there for Sura. Perhaps that's just his style. But I was watching them both going through the final corner. Aegis is just able to turn it that ever so slightly tighter, but that's where he's making the difference.
Oh, we got dust in the back. Sorry, Tristan, we got dust in the background. Not sure who it was. I think it might have been one of the riders out about 9th, 10th place, maybe Ratto, not sure. We'll come to that in a moment. Anyway, we've got crushed down. They're on their feet. We saw at the back a shot. That's at turn 14.
See how much easier Senna can get it turned on the exit of the air. Number 55, Alex Toledo, it was that went down. So unfortunate for him on the Easy Race Team machine.
And I tell you what, Aegis is turning it tight and not losing time. We said that earlier in race 1. We were out watching him on track yesterday, and particularly at the Marc Marquez corner, turn 10, he's able to hold a very, very tight line, ride it like a Moto3 bike.
Also, two very different bikes as well. The Bosco Oscuro, you need to be carrying that corner speed. It's that sort of Aprilia GP style chassis. Is that Toledo? Yeah, that's Toledo, unfortunately.
That Bosco Oscuro doesn't go very well.
Walk of shame. Yeah.
The main thing is up and okay. He'll be back in action, of course, next time out in Valencia. So, yeah, lonely walk back home. Early bath then for Toledo. Then he's Spanish, so it'll probably be a shower, won't it? There's no baths over here. Out front.
Aegis fastest lap, but Sura has matched him both on 53.7s. We didn't see anyone else, apart from Ruiz, actually, in all fairness, at the beginning, in the 53s with Senna last time. We saw that Senna can pull out low 53s if he wants to.
But what did we say yesterday? When the track temperature just crept up, that initial advantage that Senna had, like he had this morning in the cooler conditions, just isn't quite as extreme. So let's see what happens then with Aegis there in second. Just keeping a watching brief so far. We've got yellow flags at turn 8. Not quite sure who that's for. We'll pick that up in a moment. But at the moment, the Bosco Oscuro, the speed up, if you like, the 67 of Alberto Sura. Well, maybe we do have a bit of a race on. There's still a long way to go in this. We're nowhere near half race distance yet.
To see what the lap times are on this lap, because he's actually pulled a bit of time out on Senna. Just as I say that, Senna brings all the time back on the brakes. Perhaps a little bit of the concertina effect here.
Bishikirski's gone. Sorry, Tristan. Bishikirski's gone at turn 8.
Nightmare weekend for Bishikirski.
Yeah, nightmare. He had a problem coming out of turn 7 in race 1. I bet he wish he had a problem coming out of it that last time around. He was not crashing at turn 8.
Top 4, all of them 53.6s. So the top 4 locked together on lap times here. This is not something we're used to seeing. And then even 53s right the way down to 7th place. So we didn't see this at all in race 1. They're able to match Senna's pace at the moment.
Aegis is pushing Sura along here, though. I think he's getting the hurry up. Aegis wants to come through. We're watching 4th place here, Ruiz. Let's get eyes on that battle for the lead. Aegis is there. let the brakes off maybe at turn 7. Let's see.
Looked as if he was eyeing it up, wasn't it? We'll see what happens. I think he's behind him. So Surra, really difficult to get past Surra on the brakes. We saw it also at Barcelona. Really, really strong rider on the brakes.
Into turn 1 here as well. He's just able to make up a little bit of time on Aegis, and Aegis then obviously he's not got a full bike length in front. He's not got.
What's Radre doing down there?
Yeah, Radre having a very odd race. Down in 8th place now. Radre was battling for the rostrum in race 1. Just joining us now.
Here we go. I think if we see it, it's going to be there. A few times he's had a look down there.
It's kind of got to be, because the long corner at the end of the lap suits the Boscoscuro, so it's almost going to be a slipstream, which is possible. Dear me, bouncing into the corner at turn 14. This is 15, this is the run, but the wide sweeping line just helps that Boscoscuro leap out the corners. 3rd place, Borja Gomez, doing a really good job. Teammate Roberto Garcia, he's now moved up into 5th place, but he's a little bit detached from Yoho Wheat. He's going to have to get his head down if he's to try and latch back on. This is Alberto Ferrandez, the 54, we're picking up there. Behind him, the 18 of Xavi Cardaluz, who is seeing his championship chances diminish by each passing corner. Cardaluz, who managed to put 1 lap together for P4. Aegis led across the line. We've missed that, so Senna Aegis led across the line, and he leads into turn 1. You can see it at the front of the field. This is back through the pack. Number 77, that's Matteo Volpi in 12th place, but I can tell you that Senna Aegis did lead over the line ahead of Alberto Surra. As they come through, here we go, up towards turn 4 now.
Surra's not letting it go easy, is he?
Is he going to let the brakes off? He's good on the brakes, not this time around. Maybe Aegis now. He's had a few laps to see, have I got the pace to pull away? Because tyre wear is obviously a factor in this class.
Difficult one for Surra, very difficult one, because he wants to bite straight back at Aegis, but at the same time, you don't want to rush things too much. Is he having a look down at the corkscrew?
Oh, don't ya? Oh, dear me, Aegis missed that apex. It was good as well, because it just forced in that Surra wasn't going to be able to get through on him, because he hadn't got the space to run through the apex. So, building through Marc Marquez corner now. This is going to come through turn 11, which is a slight kink to the left. Up over the top of the hill, can't see your braking marker. Surra!
Oh, here he goes!
Up the inside and gets it. Oh, he's got the thing. Absolutely.
I thought he had it then.
He had it absolutely crossed up there. The front wheel was pointing in the wrong direction. He's going to have another go. Turn 14. Surra is happily ruffling Australian feathers. Aegis, if he thought he was going to have it easy like in race 1, another thing coming.
Exactly what he needs to do.
Surra fired up from his race 1 dramas, starting at the back of the grid. He qualified P3 for a reason. He got pace, perhaps, to go with Aegis. Aegis out the bubble, not this time.
Yeah, like we said, exactly what he needs to be doing, ruffling the feathers of Senna Aegis, showing him always a little bit wide through the final corner, though. Aegis has a look up the inside. He pulls it back to the second apex, though, Surra, running a lot more flowing, wide swooping lines, Romano Fenati-esque sort of lines, which you need to on the Boscoscuro machine. That's how you ride it. But it just means that if Senna wants to park it up the inside, he can, and this is letting Borja Gomez catch onto the back of these guys as well.
Nobody in the low 53s last time around. In fact, 0.3 of a second quicker. Yeah, Gomez was 0.3 of a second quicker than Aegis last time around. So these two can carry on battling. We can have a good race here in Moto2 to end their 6th round of this championship season. Surra, so far, looking good, but you get the feeling he's a little bit on the ragged edge, a little bit on the limit. But very strong where he knows he can be strong, which is on the braking, which 9 times out of 10 is where all the moves are made.
Yeah, Ruiz there, a little bit too much on the brakes, a little bit wide, missed the apex there, perhaps rushing things a little bit too much. Thought he'd have the sort of start to the race that he had in race 1, and perhaps it's just getting to him a little bit, but still 10 laps to go in this race. Well, 9.5 laps to go in this race. Aegis again has a little look on the brakes down there. Very, very strong, and they're able to turn it tight. Like we were saying earlier, the race gets in the tuck a lot quicker, able to hold a tighter line.
But not able to get ahead of this highlighter pen ahead of him, which is the 67 of Surra.
Every time he does that, I think he's going to run on. And he makes the apex somehow.
Toprak start. Maybe Toprak's on that bike. Let us know. Get in touch.
I'd love to see Toprak on a Boscoscuro. That'd be good fun.
I think we'd all like to see him in MotoGP, wouldn't we? Surra leads. That gap back to Gomez has not really changed too much this time around. The pace is up now. These two have stopped faffing around with each other. Sura and Aegis, well, with 10 laps to go, we are one. Whoa, he got it spinning up. Do you know, he got that spinning up and it just helped him turn it a bit tighter and he lost almost nothing down the straight. He's still right where he was.
He's all sideways everywhere. Aegis is a little bit more in line at pretty much every corner. Like we said thousands of times, able to turn it tighter. So when it comes to the end of the last few laps, I think Senna will have a little bit more in terms of tyre life.
Alberto Sura then, it is who leads the number 67 ahead of the 81, who at this moment in time would be crowned champion. There's no other way to put it. A podium does it for Aegis, and he's there in second. The gap to Gomez is now back up to a second. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's 1.7 back to Ruiz. So Ruiz, race 1, cooler conditions, looking like he had the potential. Race 2, as the track temperature is nearly at 40 degrees now, as we're in the middle of this race. Maybe not. It's punishing on tyres around here as well, particularly the left-hand side of the tyre. This long left that goes from turn 9, round turn 10, the Marc Marquez corner, up over 11, then 12.5 braking area, then 16 and 17 as well. Long punishing left-hander. Oh, Aegis in a bit deep there. I thought he was a little bit too late on the brakes compared to where we've been, so that's cost Aegis any chance around this section of track. And again, bobbling into turn 14, Alberto Sura, as uncomfortable as it looks from where we are, it looks comfortable for him. He seems not fazed by it at all.
He does it every lap. He knows what he's doing with it. He's got his braking point bang on every single lap. Gets the rear wheel a little bit lively, gets it into the air, but manages to get it turned, hits the apex perfectly, and he's doing a stellar job on that Boscoscura machine. I could watch Alberto Sura ride that bike all
Aegis, surely not! Wow,
drifted it up the inside of him. Beautiful stuff from the Australian.
Turn 17, what about that then? Sura's going to have it straight back. No, he is. Oh! Moment for...
Is he going to run on? Yes, he does.
Is he going to run on? Dear, he's going to run off. Senna Aegis, wow. First error all year, really, besides his accident in Barcelona. So Senna Aegis wants to win this title by winning the race. I've never seen anyone turn it tight, that late on at turn 17. He managed to do so, but Aegis is, well, stony-faced Leon Camier there in the white T-shirt. Camier, of course, his assistant. Team HRC World Superbike team principal, and definitely would have had his heart in the mouth then. So Aegis pushing, and he's pushing because he's being pushed.
He's wide there as well.
And he's wide again. So feathers ruffled. We said that was the only way that anyone would have a chance of beating Senna Aegis is by ruffling those feathers. Alberto Sura, on the other hand, we didn't predict as a rider who would do so, and he is doing.
I kind of thought before the race, Alberto Sura might win this one,
Here we go. So Sura makes the apex again at turn 12. That gap, by the way, is now at 8.5 tenths between him and Aegis, so we're not going to see a pass for another couple of laps. We could be having a bit of a showdown on here.
Borja Gomez can't stay on the back of him at all. Let's see how it happens then. Hard on the brakes, all the way it transfers to the front. Rear wheel comes up, just drifts out slightly, and then when it lands, little bit of the headstock shake, and he's straight on at turn 1. Could have been a lot worse. He had that presence of mind to be able to sort of pick it back up and not commit into the corner, because if he committed into the corner, then he would have been straight down on his backside into the gravel trap. But brilliant presence of mind from the Australian. Let's see what the lap times are this time round then. Sura will see his pit board now. We'll know that now he has a gap to Aegis behind him. 53.7 for Sura, 54.6 for Aegis. Of course, that's with that moment at turn 1. So the next lap will be where time will tell. Let's see if Aegis can get back into his rhythm now. A little bit of a Jorge Lorenzo syndrome. Once you ruffle his feathers, once you get underneath him, once you upset his rhythm, anything can happen.
Very right as well. 7 laps to go, and at the start of this lap, the gap was at 8 tenths. It has already come down. Aegis with the magnets on, just out of shot. In 5th place, Alberto Ferrandez has come through ahead of Roberto Garcia. So those two had a nice battle in race 1. They're having another one in race 2, albeit not for the podium positions, or at least not yet for the podium positions. Further back, Aradre is ahead of Cardelus. Cardelus is going one way, and that's in reverse. The Andorran, it's not going to be his year this year. Ratto 9th, Volpi 10th. He's ahead of fellow countrymen Mongiardo and Tapio, who started on the second row, down in 12th. So the Yamaha Philippines styler bike machine not doing too well at the moment. Harrison Voigt 13th, Romanian Hozjuk, Jacobo Hozjuk on the MMR in 14th. Gerard Rio, your final point scorer, number 87 in 15th place. But as we come through the bus stop chicane down into turn 14,
Aegis has halved the gap now.
0.4 of a second, and he's back where he was. So, a bit of cat and mouse maybe. There's no question that Aegis has got the pace to pull away if he does hit the front. Unfortunately for him, Sura knows that, and he knows he's got to disturb him.
Yeah, 100%. We'll see what the lap times are this time around. Might be the first low 153 for Aegis. Now he's had a little bit of breathing space, a little bit of clear track ahead of him to just hit his markers, get the power down. Makes up so much time on Sura in that final corner, and that could really come into play on the final lap. Got a good drive down into turn 1. Is he going to pounce straight away? Not this time around. Sura too strong on the brakes, and Sura off the boil a little bit on that last lap. His slowest lap of the race so far, a 54.1. Meanwhile, Aegis on his fastest lap of the race. So, while Sura's putting it in reverse a little bit, Aegis is on the move here, and he's looking like he wants to be getting past the number 67. Are we going to see it here at the next corner on the brakes? He doesn't need to rush it through. Still 6 laps to go.
Yeah, a bit wide as well.
And he knows he's got the pace on Sura.
Yeah.
But Sura will bite back if he wants to. Hasn't taken a win in this category yet. He's taken a few podiums. Wants his first win. He's hungry for it.
I think what we're seeing here, though, is we saw it in race 1. Aegis can just do the lap times, lap after lap after lap. Sura, we don't know, but no one has seen to have the pace so long into the race to live with Aegis. We're surprised it's going this long with 6 laps to go. Oh, Sura looked like he was out wide there.
Yeah, he's struggling to hold the apexes now.
Definitely pulled it back a bit late there, but worked to the Bosco-Scuro, the longer machine. Aegis on the brakes, not this time, not this time.
Always takes that tighter line down into there, always makes me think
oh,
he's going to
surely, what a beautiful move.
Missed a gear or something on the exit there, just did not have the drive out of it
Got
at all.
There,
We know how good he is on the brakes in there, but Senna squeezes him.
Aegis round the outside, he wipes his nose and put the hanky in the bin.
It's been thrown.
Aegis, well, if he wants to win this race, there's no clearer sign than just now.
Around the outside isn't the way to go.
Alberto Sura saying anything you can do, I can do better. Almost rubbing shoulders down into turn 16. Aegis parks his bike. Oh, Sura's going to turn it tight. Surely not on Aegis. Aegis had that tight line sorted all the way through this.
He just can't do it. He can't stick with him.
No, so this might be it then. As we come into the final 5 laps, has the pin been pulled by Aegis? At the moment, title bagged anyway, we knew that. Aegis leads again, and I just wonder if that was the moment. Sura, in all fairness, moment of turn 3. Sura's pushing now on the limit. He was on the limit anyway to be where he was, but I think to go with Senna Aegis, it's going to be a step too far. Having said that,
he was good through there.
He's got to keep Senna honest, because if a mistake comes from Senna, he made one earlier at turn 1, Sura wants to be in that position to capitalise.
Yeah, he's just struggling to make apexes now. I think he's losing a bit of tyre life, front and rear, struggling to get it turned, struggling to get it on the power. You can see both tyres there losing traction, although he's doing everything he can on it, and if any chassis can take it, it'll be that Bosco-Scuro flexible chassis there on that speed-up machine, but you can see he just doesn't quite have enough in the bag for Senna. We said earlier on in the race he's able to turn it tighter, he's able to conserve his tyres that little bit better, and if it comes to tyre life, it's going to be Senna who has a little bit more in the bag when it comes to the closing stages. 4.5 laps remaining as Leon Camia watches on, and I think that's it now. Unless there's a mistake from Aegis, if he can just hit his markers, Sura won't be able to stick with him.
Yeah, Sura, I mean, the gap is now nearly a second anyway. I think we can say that this race, at least for victory, has been run and probably won by Senna Aegis. There is a battle, though, for 4th place. Alberto Ferrandez has come through now, so we picked them up on Diego Ruiz. Ruiz is going backwards. Roberto Garcia will be the next one to pick his way through, but Ruiz not looking as comfortable as he did in race 1. Oh, actually, he's looking more comfortable than he did at this stage in race 1, because he was already in the pits in the gravel dash suit. So for Ruiz, he's going to have a look back at Ferrandez. Is he down into turn 1? Of course he is. 72 slides on through. Does he pull it down? Ferrandez is going to have optimum track position. Oh, but As we cut away, the track does go to the right, so maybe it was Ruiz who held on. We'll see in a minute. This is Cardelus in 8th position.
Oh, who's that? Off the,
All on his
that
own.
was some yellow flashes. That wasn't. Oh, no,
Oh,
it's
it
Ruiz,
was
it's
Ruiz. Yeah, Ruiz obviously pushed it on a bit too much. That he came on very late there, so he must have lost the front or lost the rear or something. Maybe he was pushed. We'll see, hopefully, later on.
Surprised.
For sure, the elbows are out with him and Alberto Ferrandez. But Ferrandez then 4th. That's a difference up 3.5 seconds before, well, 3.5 laps to go.
9/10 quicker Aegis was than Sura on that last lap.
Yeah, Aegis has been, I don't want to say sandbagging, but maybe just, you know, no need to go out and dominate. Maybe the sponsors said we need some more TV time and get your elbows out early on. No doubting, though, that Alberto Sura, with that package, going very, very strongly. The next Bosco Scuro is down in 9th place. That's Mongiardo. So, flying the Bosco Scuro flag. Sura looking good. 3rd place for Borja Gomez. At this rate, need 2 podiums in the space of a few hours. The first 2 podiums in the space of a few hours for Gomez. Very, very strong performance indeed. Ferrandez is 4th. Garcia 5th. 6th now for Aradre. Ruiz rejoined in front of Cardelus. Cardelus 12.6 seconds back of Senna Aegis, the Australian, just going so strongly here. Very, very good stuff from the number 81. 3 laps to go, another lap 6 on by. That time around a 53.7, a 54.3. Tristan for Sura. Sura just maybe he's also settled down.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't blame him. He was making a lot of shapes there, and you know the bike was making all sorts underneath him. And with Senna being so in line ahead of him, and he'll just have been seeing Senna just take a 10th every corner, just that little bit more. It gets demoralising, and there's got to be a point where you say, all right, he's too far up the road now. I can't stay on his pace. Keep it on 2 wheels. Bring home 20 points. Another podium for Sura. He tried his best, but no one can match Aegis. It's taking nothing away from Alberto Sura. It's just Aegis in an absolute class of his own.
The story of the season. Aegis has been by far the standout rider. Sura's tried his best to go with him, and a couple of times this year, podiums, and that's been very, very good. In fact, the last 2 races, podiums in Portimao and Barcelona, so there's been no shortage of potential and success for Sura. The problem is he's in it this year against the package of Senna Aegis, who is only a year younger than him, but on a Kalex that is a slightly more favoured machine. And that team, the Liqui Moly Intact Husqvarna outfit, are just going so well at the moment. And there's just not a lot anyone can do about it. I mean, even in Barcelona, when Aegis wasn't there, the wins were shared. It wasn't double glory for Cardelus at all. Back in this battle for 4th then, to the on-track action we go. Ferrandez ahead of Garcia. Aradre, slightly disappointing race 2 from him. We expected a bit more, but he is coming back into it now.
Not sure what's happened there.
Don't know for Aradre. He's in 6th place. Last time around, yeah, he's quicker than the 2 ahead of him, because I think they're knocking spots off each other. 2 to go then, penultimate lap. Garcia, run on Ferrandez. Ferrandez puts the bike right where it needs to be. So Fernandez 5th in race 1, looking for 4th in race 2. That'd be his best in the class. Obviously, this is only his 2nd race, but very good stuff for Fernandez. He's absolutely taken to the Moto2 bike. He's very, very tall anyway. He's taken it to it like a duck to water.
He looks like a Moto2 rider.
He does.
He
and
looks
he's
like a 600cc rider. Gets all over the front end of it, hangs off, elbows on the ground, knees on the ground. Look at the way when he transfers his weight over from one side to the other, his shoulders on the other side of the bike before the bike's tipping in, doing everything he needs to be doing, and looks really, really good on it.
Yeah, it does look good, and you know, I think as well for the team, this will be very encouraging going ahead of the final round of the year. I mean, it's the last round for them to grab the podium with him for this class, and Valencia maybe a little bit more technical than Aragon in terms of it's a little bit more stop-start and a little bit more nadgery, for wanting a better word, but looking good so far at Aragon, which is one of the harder tracks as well to come straight in and learn one of these Moto2 bikes. So we're talking about the 54 Ferrandez. He's in 4th place as it is. Roberto Garcia going to try and do something about that. The flash through the top of shot, but heading for his final lap. It has been a masterclass once again, not quite as dominant as the first race, thankfully for us here in comms, but a 3-second lead through the final 2 corners. Senna Aegis is Moto2 bound in the World Championship for 2024. He is championship bound on his last lap then. The final 5 kilometres between him and the title trophy. Aegis with 3.2 seconds over Alberto Sura. Sura, try as he might, he gave it a good go at the start of this race, and until the final third was right there, Aegis just pulling the Pinterest and doing what he's done so well so many times so far in 2023.
Untouchable. He's absolutely untouchable out the front. He's able to just reel off the pace at the end to a pace that's really comfortable for him. We saw in practice, he was able to just put 53, 53, 53, 53, all mid to low 53s. He's cruising. He's going around low 54s. Nice Sunday ride for him. He'll come into the pits, European Championship 1, easy job.
It's been rather majestic for Aegis this year. Right from the start, he's been the rider touted as the title favourite. He only narrowly lost out last year to Lukas Tulovic, a couple of mistakes, but as we said at the top of the show, every race he's finished, it's been first or second, more or less since the halfway point of last year. It has been remarkable from Senna Aegis. He has not before lit up the screens in terms of his Moto3 rides, you know, but he's a very tall rider. He's much more suited to the bigger bikes, and we see it so many times that Australians, they just get on better with a bit more power. Down the back straight for the final time. It has been a majestic year. As I said, we've had 8 wins from him. This will be his 9th of his career, and it will be the 6th of his season. I am having a look. No, it'll be the 7th of his season. It doesn't matter anyway. They're all stats. The only one that does matter is that Senna Aegis through the final corner is the Moto2 European champion in 2023. He's got it over the line. He was challenged hard by Alberto Sura in the early stages of this race. He's fended that off, and it's another double for 2023. Sura second, Gomez a second career podium in third. Ferrandez Garcia and Aradre completing the top 6. Scenes of delight down in the Liquimoli Intact Husqvarna team. Senna Aegis is going up to Moto2 World Championship next year as the reigning European champion of this year.
What do the rest of the field have to do to stop him? This man is congratulated by Liam Camier. Nice stopping, as he is European champion. That tyre is not going to be used again as they head towards the final round at Valencia, and almost lost it then.
Just did what I did yesterday. Bit too eager. Yeah, nearly. I was on the other side of the service road. Leon Camier there. It's the first title for Australia in the class. Of course, Remy Gardner has been in this class. He wasn't able to quite make it work. Joel Kelso was a winner, but that was in JuniorGP in the Moto3 class. In the Moto2, it's not been so straightforward. But now they're in the history books. Australia have a new star coming through, and at just 18 years of age, Senna Aegis dons the golden crash helmet. It looks good, the team like it, and that is the fruit of much hard work throughout this year, last year, on track and off it. All the work, the dedication, being Australia, the sacrifices that have to come from moving from the other side of the world to place yourself in Europe and change your entire lifestyle. And you get the feeling that Senna Aegis might just be enjoying
How does he see where he's going with all that writing?
No idea. He might just be enjoying the first of many successes to come. Senna Aegis, your champion in 23. Beautiful stand-up wheelie then from Valencia. and a beautiful stand-up wheelie at Aragon with the number 1. Aegis, the champion, full in gold as well. That's a great sight. Let's see if he runs the number 1 at the end of the year. Some riders do it, some prefer not to, but they do it anyway. He's going to do the whole lap as a stand-up wheelie. That is his trademark celebration, to be fair. He wheelied almost... Oh, dearie me. Careful. Don't bin it now. Dearie me. Coming through turn 11. Then a bit of a wobble. He wheelied the entire length of the back straight earlier when he celebrated his victory with nearly 14 seconds. We'll see what he does this time around. Aegis coming through 14 now into 15, the final sector. Is he wheeling? Yeah, looks like it. Let's see, can he do the full length of the straight? What's he going to do? The Australian flag flying high. Ooh, he touched down as well. With a bit of a wobble, but no problem for the number 1 as it is now. He's gone from the 81 to the number 1. Plenty of celebrations all the way around. It's actually Ralston maybe with the Australian flag over there. Quite possibly. Like I say, there's not been an Australian champion in this class. 2010 it was Carmelo Morales, then we go forward to Jordi Torres. Again in 2012 for Torres, Roman Ramos. We've had Jesco Raffin, the Swiss rider, Edgar Pons, Odendahl, Eric Granado, Jesco Raffin again, Edgar Pons again, Yari Montella, Fermin Aldeguer. Last year it was Lucas Tulovic, but now it's Senna Aegis. The team now enjoying being champions. Of course, they the Liqui Moly outfit, they took the title last year. There's Troy Corser. Troy Corser, obviously 1996 and 2005 World Superbike champion. First for Ducati, the second for Suzuki. And now there's another Australian champion. This time in the European Moto2 Championship. Alberto Sura debriefing straight away in Parc Fermé. His first win awaits, but continues to elude. Second for him, another podium, his third one in 3 rounds. There's no doubting Sura and the Bosco-Oscuro team's ability, but just slightly adrift of Aegis at the top. Third place honours as well, don't forget. Coming up very soon for Borja Gomez. There he is, in the Fantic Racing Cardoso outfit. The second podium of the day. Next time for perhaps a little bit more. Step by step, I think, is what he's saying there. So we're getting ready to get in with the interviews. The team celebrating with the pictures. Neon coming down in the background, but in the foreground, this is Senna Aegis. He is number 1 in 2023. He was the pre-season title favourite. Once again, living up to the billing right the way through. And he is going to be a proper star in Moto2 World Championship action next year. This was earlier on in the race. Turn 1, he got it all crossed up. Rear wheel off the ground. Little mistake. He soon regathered it up. And what about this for a wonderful move at turn 12 into 13. Sura did have a bite back at 14, but he just ran it around the outside and got the job done. And then he got the whole job done when he crossed the line. Scenes of celebration and jubilation for him. There will be a party long into the night, I'm sure, even if we are in Alcañiz. Respect all round from Alberto Sura, but it's Senna Aegis who doesn't just dominate this race or this morning's race. He dominated the entire season. Dear me. He was very close, front end fold. He'd be the only person who's ever crashed at turn 11, I think. Anyway, he's down there, ready for his first words as Moto2 European champion. Senna Aegis is with Tristan.
Senna, 2023 European Moto2 champion. How does that sound?
Sounds brilliant, mate. It's been a very long road since taking the gamble from moving to Australia to Europe. we've been here a few years now, been through the absolute roller coaster, and today on that in-lap, I can say that it has 100% paid off. So a huge thank you to my family watching back home. They have always supported me and believe in me, and I've got an amazing team this year, and this is exactly what we deserve this year. So I'm leaving Aragon happy, and yeah, I'm just saying I'm really grateful for everyone.
Signed up to the Moto2 World Championship next year and going up in style.
That's it. I think moving up next year with this under my resume is fitting, and we have one more race in Valencia, and then yeah, my focus changes.
Massive congratulations, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Senna Aegis then going from pole in what would be his championship deciding race with a round to spare. He didn't get the whole shot though. That honour went to Yero Rui. Then it was Alberto Sura who came into second, and Sura, wasting no time, he rammed his way through up into the front, turn 7 on the opening lap, whilst going down altogether, Niccolo Antonelli, although not sure whether it was entirely his fault in the end. At the front, Ruiz, Garcia at the time, right there, two knocking spots of each other. Sura and Aegis doing the same. Sura desperate to try and stay ahead of Aegis and passing him straight back. He had to answer straight back and disrupt Aegis' rhythm. It's the only way that he was going to be able to stay in contention. Aegis with this wonderful move at turn 17 got the thing lit up through the corner. He went wide at turn 1 a lap later, and the gap went up to 9.5 tenths of a second. Sura maybe thinking then he was out of reach. Unfortunately not. Aegis lined up this brilliant move. This is from turn 12 into 13 on a direction change. Valentino Rossi-esque there for Aegis. He went a bit wide, and then he just let the brakes off, and he was not moving. Sura, it was a good job he kept it on 2 wheels, otherwise they were both going to be in the turn 14 gravel. Fine ride by Aegis. He was in the lead at that point onwards, and nobody could get near him. He was cruising to that title. All that sacrifices that he talks of were all well worth it to move from the other side of the world to Europe to chase his dream of racing motorcycles for a living and being rather good at it, and also the burnout. He celebrated with his team, converting the 81 to the number 1. Everybody there stopping into Parc Ferme, true Aussie style for your new champion. And now we are ready for the podium ceremony. This is the race podium as we get everybody on there, team representatives et al. Borja Gomez third, second place Alberto Sura, first for Senna Aegis. We'll get them all on there in a moment. Tristan Finocchiaro back alongside me now from pit lane, and Senna echoing what we were talking about, all the sacrifices, all of that effort, the big life decisions to move not just country, but continent and the other side of the world to chase a dream, and he said it was worth it, and it is worth it.
Yeah, it's a massive, massive commitment, but like you said, it's been worth it, and you know, that's one step further towards his dream. Will we see him in MotoGP one day? A lot of it will depend on how he gets on over at the Moto2 World stage, but been absolutely dominant this season and cannot do anything but move on. He has gotten everything he needs to out of this category. He's been incredible since he joined the championship back in last year, so well deserved for him.
It's the second podium for Borja Gomez of the day in third. It's a third career podium for Alberto Sura, but our new champion, Senna Aegis, is going to make it his 7th career victory, and he has been in fine fettle from the lights out earlier in the year. A mighty, mighty performance from the Australian. Let's have a listen to the Australian national anthem.
Ahí está ese fuerte aplauso para el piloto Senaius. Y ya, pilotos, por favor, podéis proceder a daros
gets
ese
the
baño
Australian
para
national anthem for the
celebrar.
first time as
Este es el
champion, and this is going to be a heck of a celebration. The party later tonight will probably be a big one too. Senai just chases a team member all the way around the back of the podium, and a well-deserved chug on the bottle as well. The Prosecco DOC in full flow. Senai just for the first time with that Australian cape as champion. What are we going to see from him next year in 2024 in the Moto2 World Championship? We'll have to wait and see, but if it's anything like we've seen here, he's going to be competitive from the start. He's already had point-scoring finishes there, and he's not even had a full crack at it just yet.
Tell you what, there's going to be one hell of a party in Alcañiz tonight.
I'm ashamed we're going back to Barcelona, mate. No one's ever said that word before. So, our final look then at the race results from race 2, race 10 of 11 of the Moto2 European Championship in 2023, held at MotorLand Aragon. Senna Aegis with a 3.2 second lead to secure the title over Alberto Sura. Borja Gomez, a second podium of the day in third, ahead of Alberto Ferrandis, a career best fourth. Roberto Garcia, fifth. Unai Radre only sixth, ahead of Yuri Ruiz and Xavi Cardaluz, whose title hopes are now over. Outside of the top 10, Marco Tapia dropped from 6th on the grid. Harrison Voigt only 13th. Jacobo Hozjuk, the Romanian, in 14th place. Good ride from him. Gerard Riou, the final point scorer, like in race 1. Lots of DNF. Sam Wilford, Charles Aubrey, Peter Vyshakowski, Alex Carpath and Nico Antonelli. We saw that on the opening lap. We should be now readying for the championship standings. 191 plays 139. There's only 25 left on the table. He's doubled the advantage that he had to have going to the final round. Senna Aegis, unassailable, untouchable at the top. Cardaluz, Sura, Rato, Garcia, Ruiz, Aradre Toledo and Carlos Tatai stuck with 61 points there in 9th as his recovery continued, albeit in good spirits. Marco Tapia 10th ahead of Nicolo Antonelli, Sam Wilford, Mattia Volpi, Francesco Mongiardo, Gerard Riou, Borja Gomez and Harrison Voigt on the second page. Plenty of big names to watch out for there in the final round of the season coming up. They all have a point to prove. Peter Vyshakowski 18th, that's not the full story really from him though. Alberto Ferrandis is already 4 points behind him after just 2 rounds. Keep an eye on Alberto Ferrandis. He has definitely got potential aboard the Finetwork Mia Racing Team machine. All the way down, P28, the final point scorer, Eduardo Montero. Moto2 European Championship history has been made. Australia, a title winner for the first time in a class, courtesy to Senna Aegis. The hard work, dedication and sacrifices to move to Europe have paid off, and he goes to the World Championship as the European champion in Moto2. At just 18 years of age, a bright future lies ahead for Aegis. It's a name for the future as much as it is for the present.